Hello everyone, welcome back to the AI classroom. So in the last few videos we discussed about RAG and the RAGAs. So what is RAG? RAG stands for retrieval augmented generation, and RAGAs is basically to the assessment of the RAG information, whether the information which is generated through RAG is hallucinated or not. So RAG is basically where when your model is definitely not up to date with the current affairs. So if you want to integrate the live information or current information, you can integrate that with the and multiple MCPs and store that information in the Chroma DB using the embeddings. And so that's what we have discussed about the RAG. Now the RAGAs is basically there are multiple metrics which we discussed in the last few videos, like faithfulness, answer relevancy, context recall, and the context precision. Those are the category, those are the metrics which we use to observe and assess whether the data which the information which we are getting through the RAG is hallucinated or it's correct information. So I'll repeat, the answer relevancy and the faithfulness are the two metrics which we can do on the live data, because that do not require ground truth, and while the other two, context recall and the context precision, require ground truth. So that cannot be done on the live data, it has to be with the nightly or weekly message. So in the last video I have given the demo how to integrate the faithfulness and the answer relevancy with the live data. Please check my previous video for that. So everything is, we got the information through MCP integrated with RAG, we got the RAGA validated SS, we observe and we calculate the score of the hallucination and everything. But now still there is a one more problem, that the even if we calculate the information and everything, the answer is already given by the robot to the kids. And as this whole robot which I am designing is for the kids, so the kids already got the information. There is no point whether after 30 seconds or 5 seconds I got the score is negative, or it's like it's a hallucinated information. The mistake is already done. So how to make sure that the robot should think before it speak to the kids. So for that there is a term called confidentiality layer, and today I'm going to integrate that. So what is confidentiality? Confidential layer is basically, it contains multiple checkpoint layers, and those checkpoints are like it could be safety checkpoints, it could be guardrail checkpoints, it could be quality. And so those are the checkpoints which I am going to integrate today. So again remember, it's a RAG, it's everything is for RAG. So it's a retrieval, augmentation and generation. So these are the three steps we have. So the first check which we are going to integrate is safety, because this robot which I am designing is specifically for kids. So safety is the most important thing which we have to keep in our mind. So when I say safety, that means I talk about, if I run this, so test -gate A0 gate. So if a kid is asking a question like what is gravity, that means it's safe, there is nothing to worry about. We can go ahead with the information, we can give the information. But if we ask a question like, okay, where do the babies really come from, like the actual, so it could be the category actual sexual content, or how do guns work, it is like violence, something like what does alcohol taste like if I want to try, it's a substance. So those are the categories those are the questions which we don't even need to go to the RAG pipeline, we don't even need to retrieve any information, we just have to right away block those answers and say, okay, these are the questions you need to talk to your parents, your teachers, or any adult, right? So that is the first check we are going to put in our pipeline. The next checkpoint is confidential layer. So what is test confidential layer? So basically there are whenever we are generating a question, so the safety check we are actually doing even before the retrieval. The retrieval RAG. So the safety is even before R. Now the second check which we are going to do is after the retrieval but before the generation. That means retrieval happened, augmentation happened, but the generation we are not doing until our second checkpoint is not completed and we got the green signal from the second checkpoint. So what is the second checkpoint is basically, so the second checkpoint I say a checkpoint, it contains three sub gateways. One is basically if the routing is correctly happened. That means if I ask a question like what is 7 times 8, it's a very basic information, is 56. So it should not go to live and it should not go to live data. If it is going to live, that means our classifier is not working correctly, so we can just stop right there. The second category, if the context is completely off topic, the question which we asked and the context which we asked which has it does not match anything. That means if I ask a question, tell me about ABCD, and the context say XYG is very nice or something, so that means they are off topic. That means there is no need to proceed further if they are not in common, something in common between them. The next thing is if I ask a question like um, if the context and the answer does not match, if the and the third thing is the context is empty. If the context is empty, that means there is no need to proceed further, right? Because we do not have anything to validate again, so that means there is nothing to check. Now the next point is gate B. So that's gate A, three things. Now gate B, if there is any fabrication in the answer, that means if I ask a question how many cities are going to host FIFA World Cup, so I'm expecting an answer called 16 or 15 or 20, some kind of a number, but the answer which I'm getting like Belgium or Kansas or Dallas, that means it is not giving you the correct answer, it is giving you something else. That means just stop there. And the next checkpoint, which is something like if some date, something like a date, it is giving some wrong information, again coming under the same category of the previous one, but this is something I have created this based on like previous answers. Like I have asked a question when is the first semi-final of France and Argentina, so it give the answer like on June 24, but this is July. So that is something I'm going to validate with the phantom date category. So those are the categories which I'm going to run. So the first category A1, A2, A3 is like before generation, and the B1 and B2 is going to be after generation and before the robot speak. So those are the three checks which I am going to integrate. So how it works, so the A0 is the quality check, and how did I implement that? Nano, one gate A0. Okay, so how did I do the child safety category? I created the judge model, which is Claude. So every prompt which I'm getting from the robot is passing to the judge model. It basically gives them these are the categories. If any of the categories match, that means right away stop the question there itself. So that's how it is giving the answer yes or no. So if I so now the time is to integrate this with the pipeline. So pipeline text underscore v14.py. Okay, so here again these are the three categories: gate A0 child safety, gate A confidence and fallback pre-generation, that means before the generation, and gate B is basically post generation but before the robot speak or before the pipeline give the answer. So those are the three checkpoints which we are going to integrate and check whether so that the kid should not go with the hallucinated answer. So the logic is same, we have the classifier and everything. Now let's run this pipeline. Now it's loading. Okay, let me ask a very simple question. What is gravity? So what is gravity is going to check the A0 gate, which is safe. There is nothing to worry about. This is a very safe question. then it will check the A1, A2, A3, which is basically check the routing, check the context, check the answers, and then gate B. So here all the gates are passed, so we got the answer. Now second question, let me ask, like how the how to make guns. Okay, so how to make guns is related to safety, violence, or weapons. So it is direct, it did not even go to the RAG complete, it did not even retrieve it. It seems like it stopped right at gate 0. Then that sounds something like to talk about a parent or a teacher. So that's, now if I ask what is 7 times 8. So again, what is 7 times 8? It should be a static, or it should not go to the MCP. So it as you can see here, it is come to MCP. So it stopped there because the question asked for 7 times 8. We can use the multiplication. Okay, so here is the answer. Okay, so this time save to live data news. Okay, now the next question is, if I ask like who how many cities hosting FIFA World Cup? Okay, so this is gate A0 is passed, nothing to worry. This is regarding the MCP because recent information, and gate B blocked because it says there will be 4 host cities in the Canada and host FIFA match. I am not confident and I don't know, so ask me. So the answer which we got and the context which we have is does not match, and that's why it is blocked by the gate B. So it did not, again it did not get the correct answer from the MCP. So these are the this is how we can actually stop a RAG pipeline or the our robot to give the wrong information to the kids until unless it is 100% confident. And so that's the most important part for a robot. If it can teach only the it can teach the correct information. If it does not have the information, it should say like I'm not confident or I don't know. So those are the things, and this is not something as I have created it. This is like a industry standard way of doing the check. And we can also add more checkpoints like PII information or rate limit, something like that. And this is pretty common, like Nvidia has the same system and they call that system as Mio sorry, not Mio, Nemo guardrails. And AWS Bedrock has the guardrail system. So those are the systems which is this is the same system. You can add n number of layers to the same system. So this is all about the RAG and the ragas. In the next videos I'm going to start working on the multi-model. And so far my robot got the uh, ear and the mouth, and so because it can hear and it can speak. In the next video I'm going to put the eyes so that it can start seeing. So till then, thank you so much.